In addition to the home of Elliott Roosevelt, other large houses were built in the area during the 1930s. The prominent Sproul's House, constructed in 1934 by President of the Texas Motor Truck Company, Ed Sproul's, served as the center of a large cattle ranch, most of which now lies beneath Benbrook Lake. The population of Benbrook grew slowly but steadily. By the 1930s, the small community had grown to over 100 people and 3 stores. One of these stores, known as The Stand, was a favorite for travelers stopping to water their horses in nearby Mary's Creek. The 2-room store also provided living quarters for the owners. J.B. Bowles ran the only service station in the area when the city incorporated and provided another early social gathering location. Bowles operated the station until his death in 1987. Representative of the community's generous spirit, longtime mail carrier M.N. Dick Wallace, who began his career in 1911, generously left groceries at the mailboxes of rural homes during the Depression. After the end of World War II, the nearby and rapidly growing Fort Worth began to worry community leaders in Benbrook, concerned that the town's identity would soon be overwhelmed by its larger neighbor. So, on November 17, 1947, the residents of Benbrook voted to incorporate as a village, assuring it a continued and separate existence. The new township encompassed an area of over 13 square miles, and Ed Sproul served as its first mayor.
Benbrook then was like one or 2 blocks, that was it, on 377.
The actual thing that I can remember was Doc's Garage. And with my dad, it was a big deal with 5 kids. On Friday, we got to go to Doc's Garage and get a nickel soda pop, RC Cola.
Benbrook School grew from its rough beginnings to a 2-room red brick structure in 1912. With 75 students and 1 teacher, the children raised money for playground equipment by charging 5 cents admission to school plays. Enrollment at the school continued to grow, and in 1935, a larger building was constructed. As a small, close community with few buildings, the new school became a center point for social activities.
The largest part of that building was the gymnasium. And the gymnasium was available. I don't remember whether it was every weeknight or just certain nights, but it was available for roller skating. And the people who used it for that owned their own roller skates. And that's where I learned to skate.
The school was built along Winscott Road with the Methodist Church across the street. And in fact, the old gymnasium is now part of the Weatherford International Industrial. If you look carefully, you can see a part of the gymnasium on the back of their building.
Ghostly laughing and children's footsteps can reportedly still be heard within the building. Brief and distant echoes of the past within the still and peaceful night. Destructive prairie fires continue to threaten the community and the surrounding area. After such a fire nearly destroyed the nearby community of Wheatland, Benbrook formed its own volunteer fire department. A fire station began operation in 1950 on Del Rio Avenue off US 377. The building would eventually house the City Hall, Police Department, and, for a time, the town's library. To raise funds for the supplies and equipment needed for the fire station, volunteers held a popular annual donkey basketball game in the school gymnasium.
Everybody was very involved. It was a very active community, very caring community.
The Volunteer Fire Department, J.C.'s, and Junior Chamber of Commerce all took part in another favorite fire station fundraiser, the Miss Flame Pageant, in which the winner represented the community in a county-wide Miss Flame pageant. Benbrook citizens performed A Womanless Wedding in 1950. The play, benefiting the Lions Club and held in the Benbrook School Gymnasium, was popular in the South and Midwest at the time. The final act featured the wedding itself, in which the identities of the bride and groom were revealed to the audience. Other community activities were not limited to the gymnasium.
Benbrook City was centered around 377, right about Mercedes. And it was 2 lanes. And every year is one of my favorite things. They closed 377 and had a parade.
Benbrook's growth continued with the new and current City Hall being constructed in 1976, followed by a new Benbrook Fire Department, Police Department, Library, and more. Today, with a population of over 20,000, the family and community-oriented traditions continue to thrive.
This is a place that can really be a home. This is not a city, it's a hometown, and it still has that, and that's what I love about Benbrook.
Benbrook's history is certainly colorful and interesting, and it's a real joy to live in a community with such a spirited past. It's equally exciting to have a future of such bright promise.
A guy came out here one time and visited, and he saw that I had shopping and malls and everything, but when you're here, you're not aware of it. And he said, you have country living in the city, and I've never been able to improve on that.
I just think Benbrook, when it comes to raising your children, you can go to a better place. I've been here since I was 5. Benbrook is not my birthplace, but it's my home, and I love Benbrook.
The faces of Benbrook are many. The history of their lives evident in their effortless smiles and sad reflections. Today, Benbrook continues to grow and to thrive. And new faces replace those who came before. Every city, every town, every community has a story. A story of adventure, of hardships, of love, and of tragedy. This is the story of the people who rejoiced, struggled, persevered, and lived in a small town in the wide plains of North Texas. Once upon a time in Benbrook.
Over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the drums coming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there, over there, over there. Send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the drums coming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there.
I remember one thing that stood out about him, and he had inherited in a way this characteristic from his father. One of the most important considerations in both of their lives, in their own mind, was to be honorable and to establish a reputation for being honorable. And he tried to impart that to me.